Welcome to the best podcast on the planet.
It is time for us to explore some of the more interesting and informative things of the internet on today's program. Yes, we're going to get into conspiracy theories. Do you like it? Is it fashionable? It won't stay. Oh, it will stay on.
Do you got it wrapped around a turtle shell or something? What is it?
Yeah, how'd you shape that?
I know.
I just
Is it a bowl?
Pressed it to my head. No, it's
okay.
it's just a tinfoil hat.
Oh,
I just pressed it to my head. See, I can wear it off to one side, and it's quite. For those of you who are listening and not watching, allow us to bring you up.
You've got Jiffy Pop popcorn head.
I have a tinfoil hat on my head because this episode is all about conspiracy theories. And this is really interesting the way this came about because I have, how should I say this? There are people I know. Let's just leave it that way. People I know that surprised me in our relationship that actually believe some pretty funky things. And Holly actually a few days ago said, "Hey, you're not going to believe what happened." Holly, start us off by sharing your story of what happened. It was Ralph, right?
It was not me. It was Ralph. So he told me.
Okay,
about
Ralph's
this,
her husband. For those of you who haven't followed along.
And so he said he was at our local grocery store, and we don't drink tap water because I'm a water snob, and I'll admit it. I like
Same
taste.
Same way.
Yeah.
I like purified water. Well, I live in an area where most of the people here drink tap water, and that's just a thing, and it grosses me out. Anyway, side note. So he was at the grocery store filling up. We have these gigantic 5-gallon water things that we get for, the week or whatever. So he was at the grocery store standing there for however long it takes filling this gigantic jug, and this other guy came by.
Oh, and like one of those machines, right? You pay, you put $1 in, and you get, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yep. So one of these other guys came by, and he was waiting for him to finish. So they just started talking about water and how much we like our purified water just because we like the taste and all the things. And it was just the way that Ralph said it. He's like, this guy seemed totally normal, wearing normal clothes, wearing a hat, just a guy at the grocery store. And then all of a sudden he just turns and says some kind of crazy things about water, and it just throws him off. And he's like, this guy seemed perfectly normal. I expected him to be normal. He said that
you look normal. What did he say?
He said that the government is putting chemicals in our water to make certain parts of our population dumber. Not all of us, just certain parts of the population dumber.
Okay, so exactly how do you differentiate between who the water affects and who it doesn't affect?
That's for the government to decide, Seth. Apparently.
Oh, okay. So that's it. Wow. I've always heard that there was a conspiracy about fluoride, and that the government was putting fluoride in our water not to protect our teeth. Right, they do. But not to protect our teeth, which is many scientific and clinical studies have proven it does protect our teeth, but that it has all kinds of funky effects to us. Okay. And
too much fluoride does, but
too much fluoride, sure.
I've done the research. I'm a weird one, but
when I was a kid and living in Georgia, they put fluoride in the water. Not a lot, and then
they do.
Then we used to have to
do almost everywhere.
We had to gargle with it too. Like in school, they'd bring those little cups, the little white cups that you had to. Like once a week, gargle? we'd have to not gargle, but to swish
but
fluoride.
That was okay. But that's fluoride. That was like pure fluoride, not water.
No, I was just saying.
Okay, sure.
Everybody knows fluoride's poison.
Now I'm with
Seth. You remember that?
Well, you're not supposed to drink it.
You remember that?
And you're not supposed to swallow the toothpaste either.
Huh?
Right?
But they put the fluoride in the water.
Right, but they put the fluoride just a little bit, just enough to make your teeth healthy. All right.
Yeah.
So, this family member that I'm referring to, and don't worry, I'm not mentioning your name.
I know who it is already without you even saying.
I know you do. I know you do because we've had these discussions. But
See, you
a
just
long
gave it
time
away.
ago, a long time ago, when the airport in Denver was drawn near, or when it was finished, he started telling me all these things about the Denver actually a temple, the what was it, the Masons, and that
I've heard that.
It has all kinds of secret hieroglyphs and artwork that talk about the end of the world, and that it's actually going to be a holding facility at the end of the world where Christians and those that oppose the government will be put in concentration camps, and the Denver airport will be one. And the proof of that is that the barbed wire fencing that goes around. Were you right? Okay, that the barbed wire fencing curves inward toward the airport instead of
outward. Yeah, like a normal thing.
Clearly proves that the airport is going to be a holding facility for those of us who will adhere to the Constitution at some point.
Ralph has told me those because he's gotten into, not that he believes them, but just he looks into them just to, see the audacity and the craziness just for the fun, and then tells me about it. So, I've heard the Denver airport one before, so that's fun.
Okay. All right. Dale, did you have you had an example of
Yes. What about the conspiracy theory of Elvis Presley not dying? You remember that one?
Okay. Now, okay.
There's a lot of revolving around that.
No, excuse me just a second.
Yeah.
Is this the conspiracy theory that he faked his death?
He faked his death
in order to profit from it, and that he's actually runs a car wash in Illinois or something like that?
Yeah, he was sort of tired of being recognized in public, and he wanted to live a normal life. And then there's that connected to this. There's a theory that he was in the movie Home Alone.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, you can see it
at the airport. Yeah, I wish we had a way to show that, but
I know there's a clip if you ever want to see it. It's when Kevin's mom is in the airport, and right before John Candy comes up and offers her a ride. It's right before that. It's in that scene where she's getting very angry at the airport.
There's this dude who looks just like Elvis in line.
Yeah, right behind her. It's like, there's Elvis. Yeah.
That's clearly proof.
It's clearly true. You know what? I grew up, I don't know if this is conspiracy theory or just false information, but I grew up for a long time just really believing that Elvis died on the toilet.
He did.
And did he legitimately?
Yeah.
I always thought that
he
was
really
a conspiracy
did.
But
theory.
see, that's why he
No, it's a matter.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right, Dale. You're right.
I was going to say he faked.
So he really did?
He would never fake his death. The king wouldn't go out on the commode like that. There's no way the king. He's too cool for that, right?
No, it would have been a car crash, a motorcycle, a plane crash, a gunfight with robbers. But there's no way that Elvis Presley would have said, "Okay, you know what? In order to make this believable and to keep things real, we're gonna do it to where I have like a major aneurysm on the toilet." That's exactly what's going to happen.
Love me tender.
And we know for a fact that he didn't fake his own death because it's been documented what his last words were.
I don't know.
I gotta go to the bathroom so bad I could die.
Wow. I think it's too soon.
Is it too soon?
It's never too soon.
Okay. Maybe it's just inappropriate to say too soon.
So when we were getting ready to do this, I went on Facebook and I said, "Hey, if there are some conspiracy theories that you've heard, but they seem outrageous, but maybe they're true, let me know what you think." And I got a variety of answers.
That's a bad thing to do. I was really surprised you did that. I'm like, you're going to get some weird answers. Like,
I did. The one that surprised me the most, and I'll go through a couple of them, but the one that surprised me the most was an individual said, Judas betraying Jesus. Mm-hmm. And they caught me off guard for a second because I'm like, it's not a conspiracy and it's not a theory.
Yeah, so
what are we talking about here? And it's like, the only thing I could think of, because there was no explanation, it was just Judas betraying Jesus. I don't believe that conspiracy theory for a moment. The only thing I can grasp is it a case of where and it's almost hard to wrap my brain around. Did Judas do it of his own free will? Did God know this was going to happen? That kind of thing. It's like, well, what happened to Judas? And is it possible that maybe he, should he be condemned because without him, Jesus wouldn't have gone to the cross? You see, and I started really thinking about that when I thought, no, that's not. No,
you can't see me. I'm rolling my eyes, but
okay, yes.
Yeah.
No, actually, you roll your eyes so hard, I could hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I've heard conspiracy theories around that as far as Jesus goes, and that's just a whole other bag of crazy where people are saying, oh, well, he was in with the government, and it was a whole setup, and all these, like, seriously, I'm like, guys, the government does not have all these plans. I'm just telling you, they're not that good.
Every interaction that Jesus had with government officials was one of interaction and working together. Clearly,
sure. Yes,
it's been well documented that he was like, everybody in the government's fine.
Yeah,
everything's fine. No, everything's fine. And I'm not really sure Jesus talked like that.
No.
Okay, one of the other ones that I got, which I thought was very interesting. This was a big thing in the Wisconsin area when I lived up there. Slender Man. Have you heard about Slender Man?
I'm sorry, what? Is this like
Slender
Bigfoot,
Man?
but
Have you heard about Slender?
Is that like the skunk ape here?
Yeah.
In a way. Okay. Slender Man, you got to look it up online. All right. But Slender Man was this extremely tall, very, very thin, ghost-like, with a face, a featureless face, in a black suit that haunted the forest.
Is it a tracksuit with a hoodie and everything?
No, like a suit and tie. Suit and tie, and a very well-dressed creep. And he would entice you to do evil things. And there was even a story up where I was at that I think it was a 15-year-old girl was enticed to try and murder one of her friends by Slender Man. By Slender Man, yeah. And it's like, there's no such thing as Slender Man.
I feel like that's like a cop-out to be able to,
Right.
Oh, Slender Man made me do it,
Yeah. One of the other conspiracy theories that also this family friend.
You got a lot of material from that family friend, didn't you?
You have no idea. There's a couple of them. I'm not even going to touch on because it's just it just no. But this one actually surprised me. Chemtrails from airplanes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Dale, are you familiar with chemtrails?
Is it like entrails?
No.
I mean, they may look the same. I don't know.
Chemtrails.
You got one of them airplane entrails on you. Okay, so the chemtrail conspiracy is that, when you look up in the sky and you see a jet flying over and you see the white stream of cloud that follows behind it, well, we all know that is a condensation trail, because the airplane is moving through the air so fast it causes the air to condense and water vapor comes forward. It creates water vapor and it looks like a big cloud, and a little bit later it evaporates. Well, the conspiracy theory is that's not a condensation trail. That is the actual vapor trail from the engines, because the government is putting an additive in the fuel that when it runs through the engines and gets shot out the back of the airplane or from the engines, it's creating mind control gas that falls on the city so that we all, like sheep, just follow along with our government overlords.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing that got me. It's like, I've heard that theory before, and it's like, okay, but what caught my attention was he said President Trump has made sure that has ended. He stopped all of the chemtrails.
It was nice of him to do that.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so I asked, I said, really? He said, yes. He said, chemtrails used to be in my part of the country, and I'm not going to say where he's from, but used to be in my part of the country. You'd look up in the sky and they were everywhere. He said, they're all gone now. They're all gone.
So really, I saw some today.
Did you?
Saying, yeah, I see them all the time.
Oh
I know.
man,
Maybe it's just my state.
Wow.
Oh no.
You know what? You know what it is?
Hmm.
It's Nancy Pelosi clearly
Oh
trying
man.
or it's the Russians trying to interfere.
Or Hillary Clinton. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
that could be. That very well
Mhm.
could be. All right, but see, there's a whole bunch of these conspiracy theories that you listen to, and for the most of us, we go, no.
Mhm.
That's absolutely not true. There's no
Slender
way,
Man, like
okay?
that's really
I know. That's
Slender Man. Really,
It's almost
like
that's more like
it's
a monster
laughable.
story. It
Oh,
is.
but
It's
it's
very
still
laughable.
conspiracy theory because people think it's
Yeah.
like it's something, it's some kind of group together trying to do something to
Yeah.
control people, and
But
yeah.
you know what? The reason that we're even having a discussion about this is because there have been some conspiracies that actually turned out to be true.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to, perpetuate anything and start saying, hey, the conspiracy theories that you're thinking of are actually true. But these are some actual legitimate conspiracies that are very, whoops, my hat fell down.
Oh,
are
your
very, very
tinfoil
concerning.
hat. Yeah.
So let me ask you, have either of you ever heard of the research project called HK Ultra?
Oh yeah. I
Have
heard
you?
it.
Where am I
heard
at?
it.
You guys have heard about it. Where have I been?
I don't know what it is, but I have heard the name. That's about
All
it.
right,
I've heard
so
of the
this
Alan
is
Parsons
the research
project, but not the.
Yes, the Alan Parsons Project. I believe that was I don't believe they actually existed either. I think that was a conspiracy theory that was.
Oh, they were lizard people, right? That was what
Clearly,
it was.
that's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Hence,
Okay.
have you ever heard and listened to some of their lyrics? Have you read some of their? There's a real good chance that they weren't real, that they were lizard people. Okay. HK Ultra. Here we go. Here it is. Oh, I'm sorry, not HK. I apologize. MK. MK Ultra.
Okay. I just remember the Ultra. Sounds familiar.
MK Ultra was the CIA getting involved with mind control, and they were.
Do they know how to spell control by any chance?
Yes, they do. It's
K.
TRL on your keyboard. MK Ultra. They were doing experiments with mind control, and they were experimenting with this new drug that had been developed called LSD.
Oh yeah.
And they were getting volunteers. They were asking for volunteers to be a part of this, and it's like, okay, you hang on.
Wow. On
See,
a
it's the CIA.
Sneezing on a podcast.
I got to put my tinfoil hat back on in order to prevent. Yeah, we can add that out. Anyway, so they were asking for volunteers, which I got no problem with. If you're doing experiments and you ask for volunteers and you tell them what's going on, and the person is still like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, all right. The problem is they were running low on volunteers, and they started experimenting with LSD on the public without their knowledge. And there have been some really, really bad side effects as of this. And when you have a government that is doing something like that underhandedly and not telling the people what's going on, it gives credence to all these other weird conspiracy theories that come on. It's just, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah,
but
then the government's
true.
capable. Yeah.
Yeah. And it undermines us when we go, oh, listen, that would never happen. Okay, come on now. That's just ridiculous. The government would never do that. Hang on, wait a minute. Oh, they really did? They did, Ellis? Okay, so I'd like to rephrase and rethink my position on the whole thing. One of the other ones that I thought was really interesting is the Dalai Lama was also on the CIA payroll.
Oh, really?
The Dalai Lama received, let's see, what years are we talking about here? He was earning a six-figure salary from the government during the 1960s.
Ooh,
because
that's on his tax return, right?
Well, of course,
Good to know.
They say that according to the classified intelligence documents, he earned about $180,000 in connection with CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance This is when China basically took over the area of Tibet, and we, through the CIA, were trying to fight that in a covert way. And so we employed the Dalai Lama to help us out with a little bit. We spent like $1.5 million fighting them in a covert way, and well, that didn't turn out so well, did it? But there's others. There are other conspiracy theories, and sometimes a conspiracy theory can spool up and get so fervent and so rabid with the public that it ends up causing a lot of harm. Obviously, with the CIA doing their experimentation and some other things that can cause some harm. Holly, you've got a story of one that's you probably remember from the news of a few years back.
Yeah, Pizzagate, as it's so lovingly referred to.
Yeah.
And so this is the story. It was back in 2016 where some quote unquote news or information got leaked online, and there's a lot of quotations there, that Hillary Clinton was running a child sex ring in the basement of a pizza shop about 100 miles north of Washington, D.C.
Right.
Why that pizza shop, I'm not really sure. But so in the basement of their pizza shop, that was going down. And so not long after that broke on the internet, some guy walked in with a gun, and thankfully they were able to get some of the people out, but ended up going into the back and started, opening up locked doors and, rummaging through things. And what did he find? Nothing.
Not a basement.
Pizza. Oh yeah, and they don't even have a basement. Side note.
Just like Alamo.
So, yeah.
It's in the basement of the Alamo.
Yeah.
And see, this is a real prime example. And see, there are people in the media who have decided that the only way that they can make any money, the only way that they can have any kind of popularity or following at all, is to stir up the fear of the public. Specifically, I'm speaking of the dirtbag Alex Jones. This guy is just an absolute fearmonger. And I've said so on the show that I had in Wisconsin. I went off on him one day. There was something, I think it was related to Pizzagate, to be perfectly honest with you.
Around that time.
And I went off on him and just railed on him for the entire program. I probably wasted everybody's time, but he just really pissed me off. And about a day or two later, I got a call from one of his producers asking me if I wanted to be on his show. And I'm like, no. Why would I want to
said yes.
No. Why would I want to improve his show by bringing my integrity to it?
Do you still take his vitamins and stuff?
Wow.
But that's what I told the producer.
Your head was so big. Okay. All right. So, yeah.
But that's what I told the producer. I said, no, I have no interest in improving the integrity of his program by being on it. No, not at all. But it's things like this. You got to pay attention. I guess that's, if we're going to put a bow on this particular podcast, it's like, can we try and use a little bit of common sense when it comes to dealing with these things? Yes, we gave an example, and there's more examples of some interesting things that have happened that are really based in truth, which makes it all scary.
Yeah.
The government was investigating John Lennon for a very long time, tried to have him deported because during the whole Vietnam War, he was, anti-war. Well, Herbert Hoover didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Not Herbert Hoover. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. That was not my era. But I just
FBI
think okay. I just think there's an important differentiation between all of this with conspiracy theories, like the ones that you gave. Okay, yes, the government does dumb things, and if we don't hold them accountable, that's part of our due diligence.
That's right.
As the public.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We'll do stuff like that. However, some of these conspiracy theories, they're largely based on the idea that the government has this large plan in mind and everything's connected and all these people are keeping something under wraps and it's all to control us and it's trying to take our control away and to take our freedom away. And it's all that underlying, like, what's the underlying motivation here? And I'm like, when that's the theory behind this conspiracy theory, it's probably wrong, just because you can't expect. I mean, Watergate, look at all these other scandals. Like, they cannot keep secrets that long for that many people. So if it takes that many moving parts, I guarantee you it's not correct. There might be like parts that are correct, but no, not a whole
especially
thing like
in
that.
today's environment where everybody has access to a wide ability to disseminate information. Look at WikiLeaks and some of the others. And I don't agree with, betraying your government just for the fact of doing it. I found out a secret and it shouldn't be secret, so I'm going to tell everybody. I disagree. I think national security is a real thing and we should honor that. But I also think that we, like you said, we have to make sure that our government isn't taking advantage of us. The United States was formed because we completely disagreed with the form of government and we decided to do a better job of it on our own. And this is something that we should always keep in mind, is that we, the people, we're the power of this nation. We, the people, are the Constitution. We are the overseers. The government serves us. We do not serve the government. And that is part of why these conspiracy theories get traction, is so that people can rally up and say, oh, the government's bad, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Common sense has to be used in these circumstances. We absolutely have to stop and think, does this make any sense at all? What is the end game here? What is the purpose of this? This is ridiculous. There's too many really important things for us to pay attention to than chasing off and wondering whether or not when we go to the Denver airport, are we going to be taken underground and held in a prison? No, we're not.
Like, let's look at the important thing here and kind of really look at it. Like, what's the underlying motivation behind this conspiracy theory? The Pizzagate thing was just started because, it was like one person putting one thing on maybe like a very minor comment thread, such as like Reddit or something. And somebody else took it, i.e. Alex Jones, and it went from there. And I saw an article where they kind of dug into that in background, and it literally found a cat lady in Missouri that accidentally started that. Like, she had no intention of starting this whole thing, but one little thing, she put some pieces together, posted it, and bam, blew up. Yeah. And so it's like, that's why, please, yes, use some common sense. But even that, people don't have it anymore, unfortunately, I have to admit.
And there's absolutely no truth at all that Dale is a reptilian shapeshifter. Yeah, there's no truth into it at all. The other thing that we didn't get into, that I have a friend of mine that is absolutely convinced, talking about government plans to rule the world and it's all interconnected, is the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah.
Illuminati.
Yeah, all the crazy stuff.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine, a separate individual, who will not even talk about it because he is convinced that it is real and that it is a group of individuals that are coming together with the evil intent to rule the world in a secretive way. And they're all Satanists and whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
No, sorry. We've only scratched the surface. No.
Oh my gosh.
We have come close to touching the surface. We haven't even scratched it with all of the conspiracy theories that are out there. And for those of you that believe in a lot of what we've said and you feel slighted because we've made fun of you,
sorry.
We actually have. we have, because a lot of the ones that we've just talked about are just absolutely ridiculous. There are more important things for us as a community, as a society, to be concerned about than stuff like this. The main thing, how are you treating the people you get in touch with tomorrow? Okay? How are you treating the people that are around you? That's one of the biggest things that we are to be concerned with. Treat each other the way we want to be treated. Love our neighbor the way we love ourselves. That's one of the biggest things. Not whether or not, I wonder if this airplane is dumping mind control spray on the population as I'm flying. I wonder if that... No.
They're all out to get us.
Oh, paranoia? Oh, that's fun too. So... thank you, everybody, for being a part of the best podcast on the planet. As always, if you've got something you'd like us to talk about, if you've got a conspiracy theory that you're like, I know this one's true, there's Martians in the White House. Okay. Send us an email, SethMilaMedia@gmail.com. Until next time, have fun, look over your shoulder, and don't forget, tinfoil hat keeps the government from listening to your thoughts. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.